Thursday night game just wrapped up between the 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks. And like we always do with these recaps, we're going to go over the buy, sell, holds, trades for fantasy football from this matchup, recapping from the box score. But before we dig in, you need to click that subscribe button right now. The only YouTube channel out there recapping for fantasy football right after the game. On top of that, we're talking about the waiver wire every day. We're doing deep dives on as many players as possible every single day with the You Need series. And we're using videos to help you set your lineups by looking at the matchups. Click that button. Stop missing out. Ric Flair's watching you at midnight right now. Click that button or he's going to be upset. But this was a fun matchup, especially in the end, in the fourth quarter. And let's talk about these quarterbacks here. Brock Purdy looked solid. Geno Smith had a rough outing, but we saw the volume kick up in the end, especially in the last few minutes. And the funny thing I said going in this game, and nobody called me out on this, and it was a weird thing to say, I made a statement that both quarterbacks would pass over 200 yards like we were in the 1970s. That's how bad quarterbacks have been this year when it comes to passing production. 255 for Purdy, 312 for Geno Smith. We're barely over 200 well into the fourth quarter, but things got hyper-focused. It got ramped up in the back end of the fourth quarter. Let's call out Isaac Guerendo real quick. That long run, that speed. He's got that Keaton Mitchell effect where if he sees a crease, he can house it, he can be gone, he can make your week on any given touch. That's why we've had him in the back end of every single waiver wire video this year. Because of that, because if Jordan Mason goes down, that could happen on any carry on any given week if he's getting more workload. And he just had 10 today, 99 yards, 9.9 yards per carry. Of course, that long one. But when you're a speed back like that, and he's got size and just athleticism for days, that's going to happen. We got 73 yards from Mason. That's to be expected. We really needed him to cross the goal line because he's not getting much work in the passing game. That being said, you're still starting him because that's what logic says going into this matchup because he's getting all the workload there. And now we're looking at the wide receivers for the 49ers. Deebo Samuel's back. He's back. We kind of alerted to that in the video for the must start. 3 catches, 102 yards, and a touchdown. He could just break it off on any given play. On top of that, in the run game, 4 carries, 15 yards. And George Kittle, 2 touchdowns, looking good. You have to start him at tight end because he's George Kittle, and the tight end position sucks for the whole entire market for the National Football League. Brandon Aiyuk busted on you. 4 targets, 2 catches, 37 yards. The game script was really poor for the wide receivers on the 49ers side for most of the game. You can definitely say that. Until we got to the end, it kind of got high flying there, but it did not look good for Brandon Aiyuk for production. Juwan Jennings still but got 5 targets. You can't cry about 5 targets for Jennings because he's really like the wide receiver 3 in his offense with Deebo back. And the fact that he's still getting workload and Purdy's looking his way is a very good thing. That's making him more consistent. He's going to be up and down throughout the season. Brandon Aiyuk's getting workload. He's getting targets downfield. So the volume's going to be there. He's going to be up and down. Earlier in his offseason, I said he was going to be a sell in Dynasty because he was so high priced. Like a 2nd, 3rd, 4th round pick in Dynasty startup drafts going into the year. And that was such a high price and only had 4 wide receiver 1 weeks last year. But a lot of people were in on Brandon Aiyuk. I was buying when the price was dipping in Underdog Fantasy by a round or 2. Sometimes you caught it on 3 rounds. But once it got back up, I was not back in on the Brandon Aiyuk train. So when it was a discount, I was in drafts. But not when he was full price. Hell no, due to what we saw last year. Kenneth Walker, not getting done in the run game, but we did get that touchdown that saved you. But they were using him more in the passing game. He was getting more targets. He got 8 of them today. 8 catches, 37 yards. And they should target him more because he's electric. He's got that speed to burn. He's a 4-3 burner back there. So if you get him the ball in space, he could house it on any given moment. They should have been doing this whole time during his whole career here. Zach Charbbonet, 1 target. Kenneth Walker's getting more work in the passing game. We saw that last week. And that's a good thing to see. That is great for fantasy football. Kenneth Walker is a league winner probably for fantasy football here on out if he can stay healthy. Tyler Lockett getting the workload, and this came in the back half of the game and also got that touchdown at the tail end of the game as well. Noah Fant got 12 fantasy points. That's a tight end 1 for the week. Could be tight end 3, as high it could be with that amount of points for the tight end spot. I rag on the tight end position, but it's true. We cover the numbers every time we cover a tight end. Last week was the best week for tight ends, and you're looking at tight ends up to like number 14 in the rankings with 10 fantasy points. But again, the tight end position is week to week when it comes to fantasy production. Noah Fant got you good production for the tight end spot. JSN got you a 10 spot. That's okay. It's not going to win your week, but you're going to look at your box score and your fantasy lineup and think that's okay. DK Metcalf did not hit. We missed on a couple touchdowns. We missed. We could have had 2 today. One by a couple inches and 1 by a penalty. DK Metcalf almost did it. He did his part. I'll say that. Geno Smith was rough in this matchup. He was rough. Zach Charbbonet is not getting the workload. Kenneth Walker's the guy here. Kenneth Walker is the guy. And recapping this game here, this was a fun one. Even though the Niners were up, the back end of this game, that fourth quarter was fireworks. Watching Geno Smith sling the rock like his life depended on it was fun to watch, and I like that part of the game. Kept you interested. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on the way out. One thing for watching. Catch you on the next video.